brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruze, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, host of The Rachel Cruze Show, and my daughter is my co-host today. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Marie's in Sacramento. How are you, Marie?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you guys for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So me and my husband just finished up baby step 3B, and we are buying our first home. So we just put in an offer for a house that we really like. It was very reasonably priced. We have about 5% down that you guys recommend for the first home. And in negotiations, the sellers weren't willing to give up their appliances. And so that was going to be an extra $3,000 cost. We have like the 5% down, a little bit extra for closing costs, and our emergency fund. And I'm not sure if that $3,000 should come from taking a little bit less down, our emergency fund, or if it's a sign that we're just not ready to buy a house yet.
Okay. So it's not an emergency.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come from the emergency fund. That's an easy one, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I go so far as it's just not a sign to not buy the house. What's your household income?
About $150,000.
Which appliances? Which appliances?
Fridge and the washer and dryer.
Where's the fridge? The house that you're in, are you renting?
Yes, we are.
So you don't own the appliances there at all?
No, we do not.
Okay. All right. Okay. It feels like to me that you're buying a first house and this bump in the road scared you. And it makes you want to, it makes you kind of go, oh no, maybe I'm not ready. Because it's $3,000 when you make $120,000 a year shouldn't be, we ought to be able to figure out a workaround, right? Like we go get a refrigerator and we wait a month and a half, or we get used washer and dryer and we figure it out where it's $2,000 or $1,500 to do all this. And or you buy a cheaper version of both and upgrade it a year from now or 2 years from now and throw it out. I don't care, but
the $3,000 scared you that you were like, we can't even cover $3,000. Can we own a home?
No.
Because the expenses
it's not necessarily. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say because the expenses of other things could be so much more. I could see how that's like intimidating, where you think, oh my gosh, if $3,000 is throwing us off, what if something happened to the roof or the HVAC or something that's 7 times more than just this. Like,
you got an emergency fund for that, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just thinking of her thought process, like of how that can like make you stop and actually question, like, oh my gosh, are we okay financially to do this?
So the contract is still under negotiation, or you signed for it?
It's still under negotiation. We offered like $3,000 less than we had originally offered if they're not going to include the appliances, but we're still waiting to hear back. I think that since we're just at that 5%, I think I'm just like nervous that
you're borderline. I mean, you're not stroking a big check here. The other thing you could do is say, I don't have to buy this house.
Yeah.
And walk away and go buy a different house that has appliances with it and that fits your numbers. That's the thing. And so, and the interesting thing happens when you walk away from negotiations. Sometimes they suddenly give up the appliances. Like what's the price range on the home?
It's $320,000.
Yeah. So these idiots are going to lose a $320,000 sale on a house over $3,000 of used refrigerator.
We don't know yet. They've not come back.
I know, but they're willing to put it on the line.
They could.
They're willing. If I'm the agent, I'm looking at these people and dope slapping them. I mean, you guys are nuts. You're going to lose the whole deal over $320,000. $320,000 over a used refrigerator. You've got to be kidding me. So that's dumb on the seller's part, honestly. That's an easy.
Okay, so then does that same logic go to Maria? I'd be like, you'd be dumb to walk away from a deal because of just a $3,000, appliances.
No, listen, if you can't figure out a way to put appliances in it and put down 5%, I'm going to walk away and go do a different deal. I'm gonna pick out a different house. And I'll bet you money, good money, that these people give up their used refrigerator. When you turn...
And we could
you're a seller in the current real estate market in Sacramento, freaking California, and you walk away from a buyer standing there with money. This is
probably not going to happen. Is what you're saying?
Stupid on steroids. Yeah, no, don't do. Yeah, I'm negotiating this. I'm going to play hard and just go with Street Fighter and say no.
Or refund us $3,000.
Here's our deal, and it includes the appliances. Or we'll look for a house where we can get appliances because we're taking that as a sign from God. I'm kidding. It's not. It's a used refrigerator. God doesn't use used refrigerators as a sign. It's not in the Bible, but it's not second hesitations. But see what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. So,
yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So your prediction is Maria's going to come out okay? Or Maria's, because you think they're going to say, we're going to leave the appliances.
They're going to cave like last week. Yeah, they're going to.
Okay.
No, I'm like, they're going to cave.
Marie, call back in and see if Dave's right. We like to play this game.
Call back and tell me I'm wrong later, because I could be wrong. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do that in a negotiation, and I'm shocked at how stupid the people on the other side are.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, you're going to walk away from a $320,000 deal for a used refrigerator? It's not even $3,000. If you put it in
washer and dryer.
Yeah, and a washer and dryer. So what could you get for a used refrigerator and a washer and dryer at a garage sale? I mean, come on, $700-800 maybe. So this is really dumb. Mm-hmm. But people are. That's the thing. So, Marie, that's the way I'm looking at it, and I'm often wrong, but probably not on this one. Give it a shot. Let us know how it turns out. Rachel's right. You can call back and take me to task later. I lost my dream house because of you, Dave. You can do that. That's okay. That's all right. You can do that. It's perfectly legal. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Listen, the real estate market is moving. The activity level out there is probably 4x what it was 4 months ago. And that's people walking around kicking tires, making offers. But it's still not exactly a boom real estate economy. If you're selling a house, you don't walk away over $700 worth of appliance.
Yeah.
But in California, for sure.
Yeah, and at RamseySolutions.com/real estate, we have the dashboard. So it kind of gives you a pulse of exactly what's going on in the market. If you are in the market, if you're selling or buying, check it out. I do love this. Like the median price right now is $400,000 is the median price of a home right now. Days on the market, 73 days on the market. It shows you right now what a fixed rate mortgage, 15 years at 6.1.
But here's the thing. There's 829,000 houses on the market. That's 25% more houses on the market right now than this time last year. That's a big number. That's a big inventory lift. And so they're not going down in value, but there's plenty to pick from. So if you're a seller and you have a buyer standing there with cash, you sell the stupid house. If you really want to sell your house. If you don't put a sign in the yard. I mean, come on. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, you guys, I'm not a fan of the big banks, and you probably already know which ones I mean. But I do like credit unions because they're nonprofit organizations that focus on their members. And I'm proud to endorse Fair Winds Credit Union because they share the Ramsey mission of helping people get out of debt and live generously. In fact, they design products to help keep you from going into debt in the first place. Fair Winds has been in business for over 75 years, and they serve hundreds of thousands of members worldwide. You can feel secure because your deposits are federally insured by the NCUA up to $250,000. It's easy to join, and Fair Winds partners with more than 5,000 credit union locations around the country, so you can bank in person wherever you live. But if you prefer the online experience, you can log on to Fairwinds and do anything you could do at a physical location. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey to learn more. And while you're there, look at the combined checking and savings account bundle they created just for Ramsey fans to help you take control of your finances. That's Fairwinds, FAIRWINDS.org/Ramsey. Thank you for joining us, America. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruze, Ramsey personality. My daughter is my co-host today. Des Moines, Iowa is next. Julia is with us. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Rachel. How are you?
Great. How can we help?
Well, my husband and I have been working the Baby Steps plan for about 9 years, and as of last year, we hit step 7.
Oh, congratulations.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you. We're mortgage-free, we're debt-free, everything. We are looking for mentorship in being outrageously generous, and I was just wondering if you had any book recommendations or how we do that. We tithe, but, above and beyond that, we're just looking for a little bit of mentorship.
Good for you. Well done.
It's a great question. So I'll just tell you what we do, Julia. I don't know if this is helpful at all. And I think there's some books out there, I think, when it comes to this idea of being generous. But, from like a tactical standpoint, above the tithe, how Winston and I have done it, if there are organizations that we align with and ones that are close to our heart, meaning like there's one organization we've given to for 15 years because it was an integral part of our story and we really believe in what they do. So we give there. There's been elements of different times in life where foster care has been big on my heart and we've given to things towards that, or Winston's had things. So from the organizational standpoint, it is always fun to be able to support someone who's doing what you love and what you believe in. So we've done it that way. And then this year in January, we're doing something different. We're just adding in on the giving section of our EverDollar app. We put an amount of money every single month, and we're forcing each other, we're holding each other accountable to have that money be given away at some point in the month. So that could mean like a very generous tip could be part of that money. It could go towards if we hear something of, a friend's family member, X, Y, and Z, and we're able to kind of just like anonymously give some money there. So we have found more energy in that, honestly, because the organization giving is wonderful and it's great. People just do incredible things. And with the Ramsey Foundation that we as a bigger Ramsey family are involved in, there's incredible organizations. But there's something about this joy for me of seeing someone or intersecting your story with someone else and able to help kind of in the moment there. And again, it could be anonymous, not. But giving room for those things to occur. And what that's done for me, Julia, is it's caused me in an everyday instance just to be looking, and I'm more aware of people because I'm like, okay, we have this money that I want to give. And I do as a believer, I'm like, there's something spiritual about it where I'm like, okay, where's the Holy Spirit kind of nudging me here? And I've just found with giving, when you have a pulse on that and you're just interacting with that part of your soul, if you will, it just creates a richer life where I feel like before we were a little bit tactical with our giving, like we gave our tithe and we'd give to an organization. But there's something about interacting with individuals on a day-to-day basis that, again, just that's one element, one way to give. And I've enjoyed that. I mean, we're only in February. It's only been 2 months of it. But there's just like this warmth to life there. It came alive again for us because sadly, giving can get stale if you just have it on autopilot, right? So like part of this is interacting with the money you're giving to. So that's what Winston and I do. But yeah, Dave and Sharon do it on a larger scale.
Well, but it's the same. we budget a certain amount just for, and some of this we keep on the books and some of it we don't worry about as far as tax return goes, but just random acts of kindness. We just run into somebody and we want to always look across the restaurant and pick up the tab for a person in uniform. We always want to do that. We want to catch somebody doing something we love and just participate in it, that kind of stuff. That's low budget. Doesn't take a lot of money.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of joy and it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
And just we'll look across and see one of our team members and is there with their spouse, and we just end up picking up. Of course, I charge that back to the company, but that's an HR thing. But yeah, I may buy their dinner if they're lucky enough to land in the same restaurant I'll land in. But anyway, just something like that. Just catch people doing something right, and random acts of kindness. Just catch somebody where a few $100s means a lot. And I've been in those situations, and a lot of people out there have been. So you want to do that. But that's a smaller portion of dollars, but it's, like Rachel said, it's very hands-on. There's a lot of joy in it. Random acts of kindness, we call it that. And it's just God money floating around looking for a place to land. And so then we, with the Ramsey Family Foundation, we do not give to like a bazillion different people $500, because that'll drive you nuts doing the tax returns on it. So instead, we pick just a few and really, really help them. And they're always something that is close to our heart. And many times we know the people involved in the ministry. We know the character of the people involved. We know, and the last thing I'll add to that Rachel didn't bring up is that I learned many years ago, because I was giving a lot, and we've always been outrageously generous. It's part of our DNA, and it's the most fun you'll have with money. So you're going to love this. I love this question, but anyway, I treat large gifts like we're talking about as if I was doing an investment into a company. If I'm going to buy into that company, I'm going to know what their strengths and weaknesses are. And I'm going to make sure that I'm not participating, I'm not enabling, incompetence or bad behavior of some kind. To the extent I can tell, we don't do that. So, for instance, we don't give to organizations, ministries that run debt. Well, duh. Of course, Dave Ramsey's not going to pay a bank through a ministry. No. So if you're going to run debt, you're not going to be on our list of donations. We don't believe in debt. We don't borrow money. We teach people not. How dumb would it be for us to take our generosity and give it to a bank through your ministry because you wanted to have a building for your ministry instead of being a renter? No, be a renter. So, that's one of the things. And that upsets people sometimes, but oh well. I don't know why. It's kind of obvious to me. But anyway, so we do stuff that is consistent with us, and we're looking for their operational excellence, because if you're going to put X number of dollars in there, you're investing God's money into God's kingdom. God expects some excellence there. Just like those that are faithful in little things will be given more to manage. And so it's not the diligent prosper, not the inept and incompetent.
Yeah. And then I would also say, Julia, and something I feel like we've learned from you guys is, as you guys go down this path, I know you're on baby steps, you just got to baby step 7, but as you continue to build wealth, and I'm talking like in the next decade or two, also with your giving, we've put ourselves in a position where we're not the largest giver, meaning that they are so dependent upon us to fund the ministry or what they're doing, because that puts you kind of in these like handcuffed positions where you feel bad that if something changes and you're like, oh yeah, we're going to give over here, then you feel like we feel like we can't because we're disrupting such a huge part of their operating budget. And if it weren't for us, they wouldn't be here. So even from a percentage level, I would not want to be the largest donation that they get, and that they're dependent upon you to continue their ministry. Like that just puts a weird dynamic and pressure element to that too. So that's something to think about. We had some friends that they ran into that, and it just gets messy. If you want to stop it, then you're like, oh my gosh, am I closing down a ministry because I'm choosing not to give here anymore? So it's just another filter to think through.
If you'll do what you're doing right now and be intentional about the subject of generosity, like you're intentional about the subject of getting out of debt, or you're intentional about the subject of investing, you'll do really good at it, and you're going to get great joy from it. What happens with some people when they get to generosity, they just go, oh, I'm just going to give it, and it's up to God to figure it out. And no, God gave it to you to manage, and so it's not up to God to figure it out. So I think that person's going to misuse the money, but it's going to be between them and God. No, that's not how it works. You need to be a grown-up. You can't be lazy on the generosity and really hardcore on the investing. So again, you don't want to take the joy out of it, and you don't want to turn it into a bureaucratic nightmare every time you give $2.
And that's why I like, this setup of having kind of those three buckets: the tithe, the organizational that and then just a little bit of that money that we're talking about that you just have throughout the month that you're like, I just am going to be aware of people around me. And when I feel this prompting, I get to bless them in that moment. It's kind of those three buckets that one ends up
being dollar for dollar, by far my favorite.
Oh, it is
But it's impossible to do that at scale as an individual. It's very hard. It'd be your full-time job.
That's all you did.
You'd be like that guy on YouTube.
That's a fun job.
Give everybody money all the time. That'd be neat. But yeah, I hadn't got that job yet. This is The Ramsey Show. What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession? Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. If you're running a small business, you already know this. If you're thinking about running a small business, you need to know this. Business is hard. When you open your own business, you have a jerk for a boss. He or she will work you into the ground. It's amazing how hard you work when you work for yourself. It's tough, and it's scary, and sometimes it's lonely. It's hard. It's worth it. And the small business is the backbone of the American economy. 54% of our gross domestic product is businesses that have less than 500 team members. Small business is the American economy. 78% of Americans work for a small business. They don't work for the big boys. So those of you that are running businesses, you're giving jobs and food on the table and lights and water for people that work for you. You're good people. Thank you. Some days the challenges pile up. And that's why we wrote our new book, Build the Business You Love. I started this business over 30, almost 40 years ago now. And we coach, if you didn't know this, about 10,000 small businesses across America through EntreLeadership, our system there. And we have realized that businesses go through 5 stages of business as you grow along over the years and the months. And there are 6 things that drive you through this. So these 6 drivers in 5 stages, in essence, are the baby steps for running a small business. Only you're not going to do them in 36 months. You're going to do them in 20 years or 10 years. But that's okay. We're going to show you the proven system. The book is called Build a Business You Love. It's $29.99. It comes out April 15th. It's my latest book. Could be my last. I don't know. You never know. And we get over $350 worth of stuff if you pre-order for $29.99 right now. And that includes instant access to the EntreLeadership Hiring Playbook, how we hire and fire at Ramsey, in other words. Early access to the ebook, the enhanced audio book, all kinds of goodies, in other words. You can pre-order today at RamseySolutions.com/store, or if you're watching on YouTube or podcast, click the link in the description. It'll put you right in there. If you're thinking about or you are running a business, it's really good to know what the baby steps are. It's really good to know the system to do that, and that's what this is. Business is hard, but it's also fun. It's also exciting. It's also an adventure, and it's a much better adventure if you're driving from your home to Florida, if you first know where Florida is. It's less adventurous and much more predictable outcome. And good news is I'm already there. I know what the road looks like, so I can show you. And that's what this is. Build a business you love. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sue is in Lexington, Kentucky. How are you, Sue?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Well, okay, so I'm 65 years old. I only have $41,000 in retirement. I went through breast cancer.
Sue, I'm having a real problem with your phone. Can you walk to a different place, please? Where it's breaking up.
Or take it off speaker if it's on speaker. That helps.
It's not on speaker. Is that better?
A little bit. Let's try again. You're how old?
Oh. I'm 65.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold, hon, and they're going to pick up, and we're going to try to get you worked out so we can get you back on and understand you. I apologize. Belle is in Denver. Hi, Belle. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, it's so nice to talk to you guys.
You too. What's up?
So we bought a home in May of 2023, and my biggest goal has been to just pay off our home. I took your class when I was in high school, so about 7 years ago, and it's stuck with me ever since. We are only $20,000 away from paying it off.
Yay.
And I should be able to make that payment next month.
How old are you guys? 25?
I'm 24 and my husband's 31.
Look at you. What's the house worth?
We bought it for $340, and we had to do stuff to it, but it should be worth close to $500.
So high school teachers, this is what happens when you teach this stuff in high school. This is your student. She's now 25, and she's got a $500,000 house that's $20,000 away from being paid for. You're amazing. 24 years old. Way to go. Cool, Belle. I love it. You know how weird you are, right?
Yeah.
How much do you guys make a year, Belle?
Do what?
How much do you guys make a year?
It really varies. Like right now we're sitting at 200 to 280, depending on our situation that we're in.
Good for you guys. That's awesome.
A really unique situation. Like we're contractors for the state, and it just depends on like how busy we are.
Well, congratulations. Okay. Fast forwarding past bragging on you. What's your question? How can we help?
So I remember in the class that I took in high school, it was talking about mutual funds, and if you start earlier, it's better long term than someone who starts later with a bigger initial investment. And I remember having a job. I was working at Wendy's at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing this when I'm 17. And I asked the teacher, how do I do this? What mutual funds do I look into? She was just like, I don't know. And I'm like, you don't do this, and you're a teacher. You're making $50,000 a year. Why don't you do this?
Because she's sitting down. Yeah.
So unfortunately, she didn't have any resources for me, and I'm still in that place that I was when I was 17.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what to do with. We're going to have a lot of extra money once the house is paid off.
Okay, rule number one, investing, is go slow. Okay, rule number two is don't put money in anything you don't understand. See rule number one, go slow until you understand it. Don't put money in something until you understand it. So this phone call means you're very wise. Congratulations. You're trying to resource some knowledge so that you know what to do. Very good, Sue. And then what I would tell you to do is very simple. I want you to go to RamseySolutions.com today and click on SmartVestor to find some of the mutual fund brokers that we recommend, that we have vetted. And here's what you're looking for. We have vetted them for being experts and for having the heart of a teacher. I want you to meet with 2 of them or more and find someone that teaches you something. You may connect emotionally, relationally with one more than another one, and that's the one you're looking for. You don't want someone that tells you what to do with your money. And some people in the financial world are so stupid, they think that's what they're supposed to do. They drop their glasses down on the end of their nose and speak down to you. If anyone ever does that around the subject of money, get away from them. Your job is to understand. Go slow, understand before you invest. And so you're meeting with a SmartVestor Pro not to have them tell you what to do with your money, but to have them teach you how mutual funds work, how to select them, and then based on that teaching, here's some we might look at. And then you would buy some if you understand them and you look at them and you understand what you've learned. The good news is it's not really that complicated.
Okay.
I mean, like, you're going to sit down in an hour, you're going to have a real basic understanding and feel very confident and pretty competent about doing your first series of investments. And go ahead and do it now before you get the house paid off, because you want to interview these people. You're going to be spending the next decade with them.
Yeah, and
if you want to.
And just from a high level, Belle, what we teach is 15% of your income going into retirement. So I know exactly the chart that you took. It was probably the Blake and Jack that shows you compound interest. If you invest at 19 all the way to 65 versus someone that starts at 32 and invests to 65. And so what that is showing is compound interest, which you're going to get when you invest in things like mutual funds. But you're going to do that within, first and foremost, retirement type funds. So a Roth IRA or a 401k, or you guys work for the government, so maybe like a 403b situation. But 15% of your income should be going into retirement specific funds. Within those types of funds, of course, there will be mutual funds and all of that of how you're actually investing. But a SmartVestor Pro can walk through and be very specific with your situation too, which is helpful. But just know retirement is the one place you're going to be looking. So Roth IRAs, 403bs, all of that. It's going to be really your first step into the process. But congrats, Belle. It's awesome.
Go slow enough to understand it before you do it. It's your job to manage your money. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have you gotten one of those texts recently claiming to be the USPS with some sketchy link to update your address? It's annoying and a little terrifying. And you probably think to yourself, I should do something about this. But where do you even start? Well, as your nerdy friend who does the research for you, I found the solution. They're called Delete Me. And here's the reason they come in the clutch. The internet is packed with data brokers, which are these shady companies whose sole purpose is to collect your personal info and sell it for a profit. Enter Delete Me. Delete Me swoops in, finds your info on these sites, and removes it on your behalf. They even send you a report with all the details. And so far, for me personally, they have reviewed 27,000 listings, removed my info from 240 data brokers, and saved me 66 hours in the process. I trust Delete Me to help protect my family, and I trust them to help you too. You're going to get fewer spam texts, fewer phishing emails, and fewer creepy robocalls. And Delete Me also makes a great gift for other people in your life that you care about. Individual plans start at just $9 a month, so take an easy step to protect yourself and your loved ones today. And as a Ramsey fan, you'll get an extra 20% off any of their plans at joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. That's joindeleteme.com/Ramsey.
I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruze, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Sue is back with us. Maybe we got our phone straightened out from Lexington. Hey, Sue.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Hi. Yes. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. That's much better. Thank you.
Wonderful. No problem. Okay. So I am 65 years old. I plan to work at least 5 more years because I only have $41,000 in my retirement account. I have $40,000 plus, give or take, of debt, which I impulsively let a debt relief company take over for me. I realize now that was a mistake. And that should be resolved within 3 years of making payments to them. I also own a home. I still owe $88,000 on my home. So I'm wondering if when I become eligible for Social Security in a year and a half, and I'm going to continue working, should I then just try to get my house paid off, double, triple my mortgage payments, once my debt is gone, obviously, just so that when I do stop working and I have to live on the small retirement that I have and my Social Security, at least I won't have a house payment. Is that the smartest way to go?
It's not bad. You're debt-free at that point. And what do you make?
With my side hustle combined, it's between 80 and 90, just depends on the year.
Okay, all right. Well, what we would normally suggest is get out of debt first with the $40,000,
right,
which is what you're doing, and I want you to accelerate that and do it faster than you're planning.
Okay.
I want you to live on beans and rice, and let's do this in 2 years instead of 3. Start trying to figure out what would have to be true for me to do that. What would I have to get rid of? What would I have to do this? How much do you owe on your car?
Oh, my car is 13 years old.
The car is not the problem. Yeah. Okay. What's the $40,000 in debt? What was that on?
An accumulation. I had cancer a few years ago and basically was out of work and had to live on credit cards here and there. And it just, added up and interest took over. And
So most of it's credit cards?
Yes. It's
okay.
40,000 is credit card. It's all credit cards.
Oh, it's all credit cards. Okay.
Yeah, but it's all with
well,
that.
Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to work the debt consolidation company. I wish you weren't there, but you're there now. I want you to have them call. I want you to save up piles of money and have them call the small one and see if they'll take a deal.
Okay.
Like 50% off or something, and then knock them out. And then save up some money and knock the next one out. And and if they won't call them and offer them that, you call them and offer them that.
So can I do that? Can I take it back from them?
You don't have to take it back. You can just call them. It's your debt. They'll always talk to you.
Right, but does that mean I'll still owe the debt relief company?
No, you owe the debt relief company anyway. You prepaid them. They took all their money up front.
No, I'm paying them $1,000 a month to. So I have 3 credit cards.
You're going to pay them $1,000 a month for 36 months. That's $36,000.
Well, that's handling one debt. I have other debt that they haven't. The small ones they haven't touched yet.
Did you hear me? You're going to pay them $1,000 a month for 36 months. That's $36,000. You only owe $40,000.
Right. The other small credit cards they haven't touched.
No, honey, $36,000 will pay off your debt. Oh, you're not paying them that in fees. You're paying them that in total.
Yes,
and they're paying your debt. Yeah, okay, so you can save up. The $1,000 is not their fees. So you pay the $1,000 anyway, and you call up the smallest one if they won't do it, and you offer them 50 cents on the dollar when you've got a little cash saved.
Okay.
Well, anyway, that's how we can accelerate it. Then back to your question, I want you to say 15% of $100,000. I want you to say $15,000 a year into retirement. As soon as the debt is paid off, after the debt's paid off. While you put everything else you can find on the house. But don't pay any extra on the house until the debt is gone. Don't put anything into retirement until the debt is gone. Once that $40,000 is gone, then the first thing we're going to do is put 15% into retirement, and everything else we can scrape together goes onto the house.
Okay, so I have a question about the retirement then. If I'm 65, are there rules around how much you can put into a 401k?
No.
Or do I have to do
you can put
that
as much as you want to. You can put as much as you want to put in, and as much as anybody else can put in.
You can do catch-up contributions.
You can do even more, but you don't need to do more. You just need to do $15,000 until you get your house paid off. Yeah. So what you're looking for though is you are looking for a Roth.
A Roth, okay.
Roth IRA, Roth 401k. That's what I want you to do. But none of this until you're out of debt. Then 15% and the rest of it towards the house. Mm-hmm. And here's the good news. I think you're going to have all this done like by 71, it sounds like, if you do what we just talked about. And so you have a paid-for house, and you're sitting with $150,000 and you got Social Security. Not the best of all worlds, but a whole lot better than some people we talk to.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Hope that helps too.
Yeah, that's the right way to go. Well done. Very well done. The Ramsey Show question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. When the payment on your defaulted private student loan is as much as some mortgages, it's hard to get ahead. That's when Why Refi can help. Refinancing to a low fixed rate loan built just for you. Find out more at whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. Might not be in all states.
All right, today's question comes from Greg in New York. He said, how is it considered ethical for people to own so many houses? I'm just wondering how, as a Christian, this isn't seen as greed. Don't you know that buying up all these homes is what's causing the housing shortage? You know what?
Well, actually, Greg, let's just start with not the spiritual part, but your economic understanding. That's not what's causing the housing shortage. Investors buying up houses is not causing the housing shortage, okay? Period. So you're just wrong. Now
that is it. Can we stay on that for just a second?
Yeah.
Because that is a thing going around that these massive hedge funds or Blackstone, like all these, they're coming in and buying up.
But they don't have a soul.
That's right. Okay. So
hedge funds don't have a soul.
Yeah. So because an individual investor, right, for the average person out there who has maybe 2 or 3 rental homes, right? They're on baby steps and they're doing it.
They're not causing the thing. But Blackstone, those guys are buying up houses. So that's true.
Is that affecting the housing market at all? Because that is.
It probably is to some extent, but not as much as TikTok says it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you really don't want your economic lessons on TikTok. I'll just help you with that in general. But anyway.
You're on TikTok, though.
I know, but that just proves that I'm lacking in judgment. But, yeah. So anyway, that's the thing. Now, I own, I don't even know, 15, 20 houses and a bunch of commercial real estate as well. How is that not greed? Because I don't own anything, Greg. I'm a Christian, and that means God owns it, and I'm managing it for him. So I guess you're calling God greedy now.
Okay, so devil's advocate, what would you say if Greg was like, well, Dave, why do you need so many houses? Why don't you just give all that extra money away?
I'm managing money for God. That's my job.
Well,
and I've done a good job. I've done a better job than Greg has done.
Okay.
And that's why he thinks I'm greedy.
Well, this mindset, so this is an extreme, right, of, 20 houses or something. But this is the same logic of, well, is it greedy to have more in your retirement than maybe you may not need, right? Like
listen, if you got three bathrooms, you have 3 more than most people in the world. Why are you not greedy? If you have 2 cars, you have 2 cars more than most people in the world. If you make $38,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of income earners in the world. How are you not greedy? Because amounts don't create greed. Greed is a spirit. It is not an amount. And, if you want to be a communist, just be a communist. Don't try to blame Christianity for it. Okay? If you want to be a socialist, just be a socialist. Don't try to blame Christianity for it. That's a form of heresy called Gnosticism that believes that the material is bad, and anyone that has the material, their soul is in jeopardy. The Gnostics taught that in the 1st century. They were heretics. So if you want to do a little theological rabbit hole, we can do that. But
I love the rabbit holes, Dave. No, that's good. I think that's it, though. Greed is not an amount; it's a spirit.
That's it. And so hoarding is not an amount. The difference in saving and hoarding is intent. Mm-hmm. It's not the thing. I have a collection of water skis, but I don't worship them. They're stinking antique water skis on the wall. That's it. But that's not hoarding. It's a collection because it's about the intent. This is The Ramsey Show. brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruze, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today, #1 best-selling author, and my daughter. Bobby is with us in Chicago. Hey, Bobby, welcome to The Ramsey Show. Bobby?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sure, man. What's up?
So I'm 29 years old, and back in 2023, after a harsh talk with my wife to manage her spending, we made the decision to get out of debt, and we achieved that. And 2025 was going to be our year that we were house shopping and going to buy our first house. And about a month and a half ago, I got a statement in the mail for some credit cards and found that my wife has pulled about 3 new credit cards and has maxed them out, and we've now accumulated some new debt. She's always had a bit of a spending problem, and I thought we got through it, and we were pretty happy being debt-free. Just not quite sure how we have this conversation again, and how to make this stick and be on the journey of being debt-free and managing our money.
How much debt on the 3 cards?
From zero, we've now accumulated a little over $3,000.
Okay. And when you said, hey, I thought we were getting out of debt and saving for a house, and you ran up credit cards, and you knew I hated debt, and we had worked to get out of debt, and you did this, and didn't tell me, what did she say?
Well, she's pretty embarrassed but defensive. Her mother stole her identity at a very young age, and she's never had great finances. We've did a lot to get her out of debt, from debt that was accumulated as she was 8 years old, with TV, utility bills, cable bills, all done by her mother. But we did a lot to do that, and she doesn't want to end up like her mother. And
How old is she?
She's 30 now.
Okay. How old are you?
29.
And how long have you been married?
8 years.
Okay. All right. I'll give you an observation of what I think I heard you saying, and I want to play it back to you. Okay. I think you were using the words "we" and "our" when it was only you. I wanted to get out of debt, so I talked to her about her spending, and I got us out of debt so that I could buy us a house.
I had a harsh conversation
I don't think
with her.
she was involved in any of this emotionally. I don't think she agreed with the decision. I think she went along with it because she's embarrassed and shamed about her handling of money. But I don't think as a grown-up she stood up and said, I'm going to join hands with you and we are going to hit these goals. Instead, I think she's been treated like a little girl again by you. That's the language you were using, and I'm going to play it back to you. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, when you said, Bobby, I had to have a harsh conversation with her about it. And so I think the real question is, number one, kind of what Dave was just proposing of, okay, so looking back now at the whole journey in which you guys have walked through the last few years with money, how has she been through that? And obviously not very on board, or she has some major issues. And honestly, the whole spending addiction world has really exploded in the even more recent because of how easily it is to have access. So whether it's to credit cards or shopping online, all of it, just like gambling addiction has gone up with sports betting and all of it. So there's such this environment, Bobby, that she's having to honestly fight a bigger battle now today in 2025 than even in previous, generations. Yeah. So my question would be to her is, what's going on with her? What is it that's causing this to happen? Because we see it all the time that there is levels of really deep pain, and the medicator is the spending. And so I'm curious, and with her backstory of her mom and not trusting fully the adult in her life, and the adult in her life used her completely and stole her identity to mismanage money on top of that, right? Like there's a lot there for her. And so does she recognize any of that, or is any of that in the conversation?
Yes. We sat down early on when we wanted to buy a car together, and we would like to finance something, and she didn't know anything about credit and all that, and that's where it was found. And she was very upset by that, and it came as far as she was actually arrested on felony charges for deceptive practice for a bad check written by her mother, and luckily found not guilty. And that's where the changing point in our lives were to get out of
How long ago was all
my
that?
debt, her debt.
How long ago was
that?
that?
Sorry?
How long ago was that check thing?
The check was made when she was 18, still in college.
I mean, when did this charge come?
Charge came in 2021.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 4 years in the past, and apparently we've gotten Mom off the stealing pattern. Mom's not stealing her identity anymore, at least as far as we know, right?
No, we're completely locked down with our identities.
Good. Okay, so all of that's in the past. She didn't do anything wrong there. She was a victim there. Then that changes gears when she runs up debt in contrast to what you guys have talked about. And so Rachel's right. It could be an addictive behavior. It could be coming out of pain. It could be coming out of you just controlled everything and she didn't have a vote, and this was her only way to have a vote. So she just ran off and did whatever the flip she wanted to do because you tell her everything to do, and she doesn't, she's saying, her little girl's saying, you're not the boss of me, I'll show you. And sometimes people react that way too. Mm-hmm. So, because I think you told her what to do, I don't think you got agreement. There's a difference.
Would you agree with that, Bobby?
I absolutely agree in a half and half scenario. I know I can have that kind of tendency.
You have on the phone with us.
Yes.
Okay. We heard it. That's where it's coming from. I'm not being mean to you. I'm just saying that, there's a difference in getting people to buy into a vision and go forward. That's leadership. There's a difference in a leader and a boss. A boss is got a cattle prod and tells you what to do. It's a stick and no carrot. And that's in business, but it's also in ministry. It's also in your marriage. And so versus I'm going to get collaboration. We're both going to sit down and talk about the pluses and minuses of debt. We're going to get, we agree we're going to get out of debt because it's the fastest way to build wealth. We agree we're going to get out of debt because we want to buy a house. Not Bobby wants to buy a house, and he told her what to do so it could happen. I kind of think that's what happened, Dave. So I'm not blaming you for this. She shouldn't have lied. She shouldn't have deceived you under any circumstances. That's wrong. And so you guys probably need to sit down with a good marriage counselor, ask them about a possibility of a spending addiction, but also let's get some different patterns to get agreement and sell a vision for the future. The Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. Let's both buy into where we want to go, not where you tell her we're going. There's a difference. This is The Ramsey Show. I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? And it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I
in the
going to
middle
eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief, like it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance, and we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. The cost of stinking pizza.
It really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com. Are you staying on track with the baby steps? Well, take a quick quiz to check your progress and receive a personalized plan just for you. Simply head to the show notes and click in the link titled, Are You on Track with the Baby Steps? You take a quick quiz and we'll tell you exactly where you are. Oh, and we'll start to tell you what some of your next steps are. Hey, Riley is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Riley. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Sure.
So here's my question. Would a budget of $20,000 be unreasonable as a college student?
A budget for what?
For $20,000.
$20,000 to do what?
To get married, to have a wedding.
Oh, a wedding.
Oh, your wedding budget.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah, when you getting married?
We're hoping to get married by 2027. We kind of have to be stationed together as naval officers since we're both commissioning after 2028.
All right.
So you got like 2
years?
Yes.
Okay.
But you guys are in college, so you're thinking about getting married after or something? Is that?
So we have to get married right before we graduate. Since we're both in ROTC, our requirement is that we commission straight out of graduation.
When you graduate May of 27?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have to be married that summer because it'd be kind of hard to plan a wedding when we're away from home.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, and I was just wondering why you guys are waiting, but you're in school, so you're going to wait till you're toward the end of school.
Yes, that's right.
So basically 2 years. Okay. And while you're in school, are you earning an income?
We are. He's earning more than I am. I'm currently just getting a stipend, so that's about $250 a month. It'll increase slowly, so by my senior year, I'll be getting $400 a month. He's getting that as well and working. I think his annual income, he's trying to hit under $15,000, just so that he can stay under a certain tax
Are you guys
bracket
paying
for his
for
parents.
Riley? Are you guys paying for the wedding?
Yes. So him and I will be paying for the wedding, but my parents are going to be giving it another $5,000 by the time I get to my junior year.
Will you guys have $20,000 saved?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Currently, we both have combined a little over $30,000.
Saved?
Like total saved.
Where'd you get that?
Not just for the wedding.
The numbers you gave me don't equal that. Where'd you get that money?
So that's just from savings, like throughout lifetime. I'm a huge saver.
Okay, so
I babysat.
So you have $30,000 saved today, which is your total life savings. You're going to add a little bit to that, but you're not making much money. I mean, you're making $3,000 or $4,000 a year for 2 years, okay, and you're eating during that time. So, you're not going to do a bunch of addition to this $30,000. So the answer to your question is $20,000 too much to spend on a wedding? The answer is no. The answer is always relative to if you've got $200,000 and you make $300,000 a year, $20,000 $20,000 wedding is perfectly reasonable. If you have $30,000 to your name and you're going to spend 2/3 of your net worth on your wedding, that's probably too much. What's going to be your income when both of you come out as commissioned officers?
We'll both be making about straight out, I think it's about $90,000
each.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so now we're talking about somebody making $180,000 a year, fresh out of school, and they've got $30,000 to their name. Do they spend 20 of that on the wedding? But the good news is you're used to living on nothing, and so you could probably save $20,000 in 3 months. Once you're making 180, agreed?
Yes.
That's $15,000 a month. Follow me? So, yeah, I mean, what I would say is this, okay? The average wedding in America today is $28,000. The average household income is $78,000. So it's about 1/3 of your income is the average, is one way of measuring it. That's the average. Now, do you want to be above average, below average on your spending? That's up to you. Anywhere in there. Pay cash, number one. Just listening to your story, I think I would say, yes, I'm going to have a $20,000 wedding, but I'm going to do it with new money that I make after graduation.
Well, they have to get married before graduation, is what she's saying.
That's right. Before you have any income.
Is that right, Riley?
Yeah,
or will you guys be working?
You did say that. You did. I'm lost. Okay. My plan just fell apart.
Okay, so Riley, here's a question. I don't know, just trying to get creative here. Could you guys go get married, have your family, have a great fun dinner out, and that be the quote unquote marriage, right? You got married, and then 6 months later, will you guys be stationed away? I'm just trying to think, like, is there a way to do a really beautiful, nice wedding that you really want?
A celebration.
Yeah,
later.
and it be a few months later.
And that's what I thought as well. The only concern is we have no clue of knowing our timeline. So it could, if we do that, we could get married by chance 3 years later, depending on both of our deployments.
Yeah.
Oh, like having the wedding, because you guys could be deployed pretty quickly.
Yes, yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're married, do they separate you on deployment?
So our deployments could be at different times. They try to keep us on the same base, but since we're both college students and under the program, there is a chance that for a year or two that we would be on different bases.
Okay. All right.
But we're trying to prevent it as quick as possible.
Well, thanks for your service to the country. Okay, if you spend $20,000 and you have $30,000 and you have basically no income, and you get married, and 2 months later you start making $180,000 a year, that is dangerous, but it's not completely suicidal because you're spending most all of your money and you don't have any money. You follow me?
Yes.
But you're getting ready to start this huge income unless something really goes sideways. So, yeah, I would not spend $1 more than that, and I would push that as close to my $180,000 income starting as is reasonable. Okay? I realize you got to do it before the income starts, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But I want to push it right up next to it. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want the gap between you having $10,000 and it's sitting around, you only have $10,000 left, you're married, and it's 6 months later and you still got no income. We don't want that game. That's a bad game. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's what we're looking for. I just don't want you living on the edge, kiddo. Life's too short.
I agree.
You know,
that was why I called.
You're a saver. You don't want to live on the edge. You know? Yeah. So I mean, like if you guys if you do the wedding in June and you graduate and your income starts in July or August, I'm fine with that. You follow me? I'm not fine. I don't love it, but but at least you're not completely stinking broke.
You don't have 4 kids and you're trying to keep a household running. Like you guys can do it.
Yeah, and you got this, and then you guys got a pinky swear and spit shake with each other. We're not doing nothing till we build up a big old emergency fund because I assume you have zero debt, right?
Yeah, absolutely no debt.
Okay, that's what I started this whole conversation with, that assumption. But yeah, I think you're on track. And here's the good news, Riley: you're going to be okay because you're thinking about it, and because you're a saver, which means you're being you're concerned about overextending because your nature is that. Where Rachel is a spender, I'm a spender. Our nature is woohoo, let's go buy it, and we have to guard against that nature to be wise. And not get up over our skis, and fall on our face. So I think because you're asking the question, That tells me you're probably going to be okay. Because you're a saver, you're probably going to be okay. If your fiance's on board with those two things.
And I'll say this too, that the income is pretty guaranteed. It's not like, oh, we're going into sales and I think we're going to be making X, Y, and Z. Like it's you know the salary ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's laid out pretty black and white. You know what's going on. So
we're moving straight into officer court.
Yeah, that predictability is helpful in the scenario too, Riley. So
sharp young people serving their country.
I know. Thank you guys so much for that.
Very cool.
And congrats. Have fun planning it and everything.
It's going to be fun.
Very exciting.
Very cool. This is The Ramsey Show.
You know how when you go against what society thinks is, quote, normal, like avoiding debt, it feels weird at first? Well, I'm here to tell you that is okay. I want you to be weird, if that means you're being intentional, including how you budget. And one way to be intentional about how you spend your healthcare dollars is with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't health insurance. They're a biblically based alternative. CHM is a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families take care of healthcare costs without sacrificing their freedom. As a CHM member, you'll share 100% of your eligible healthcare costs with a dedicated Christian community. And in return, your monthly contribution goes towards other members' medical costs. So no matter where you are in your financial journey, CHM can help you reach your money goals and still get the care you need. Plus, programs start as low as $98 a month. So go to chministries.org/budget to find out more. That's chministries.org/budget.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions is the debt-free stage. And if you're standing on it, it usually means one thing, that you're debt-free. And that's where Patrick and Chelsea are. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi.
Doing great.
Hey, Dave.
How are you?
Welcome. Where do y'all live?
Louisville, Kentucky.
All right. Well, welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you two paid off?
$250,000.
All right.
Oh, man.
How long did that take?
Just over 5 years.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
Started around 150 and up to 280.
Good for you. What do y'all do for a living?
We're small business owners. We own a franchise, a security franchise, and we just started a consulting business on the side.
Very good.
Amazing.
So you're killing it.
Yes, trying
Congratulations. Well done. So 5 years, $250,000. Did you guys pay off your house?
We did.
We did.
Look at that weirdos. Couple of weirdos. I love it. How old are you two?
I'm 39.
And I'm 37.
All right, mid-30s to late 30s. I like it. What's this house worth?
Probably about 550.
Good for you. And how much in your retirement accounts?
360.
Okay, bumping up on, well, you own a business too, so you are millionaires.
Yes.
Baby step millionaires. Way to go,
Well
guys.
done,
And you're not even 40.
That was our goal.
I love it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Well done. Okay, how does this story start? How in the world do two people like you become weirdos by the time you're 40? Well done.
Well, so we've always kind of lived by your principles, avoided consumer debt. When we started our business, I had the same mindset, stay away from debt as much as we can. We moved cross-country from San Diego from my previous job in federal law enforcement, started our security company from scratch, working long days, long hours. I think it was 7 months in the beginning where I didn't have a day off. She's at home with the kids, just fully supporting us. And yeah, we make a great team, and we're so thankful for the position we're in now.
Man. So security, as in like alarm systems and cameras?
More security guards, for apartment complexes, Walmarts, that kind of thing.
So you're utilizing your law enforcement background.
Yes.
Now. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
So
Okay.
smart. So smart.
Oh, very good. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, recession resistant is like what we like to call it.
What'd you say?
Recession resistant.
Ah,
So that's the goal.
definitely.
So good. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, actually, recession can cause it. Yeah,
It's true.
it's fun.
How many kids do you guys have?
We have 2.
Okay, how old are they?
Luke is 5 and Ryan is 3.
Okay.
So they're keeping us young.
Man, so you had babies during kind of all of this. I
Yeah.
mean, at least the second one
beginning,
during this process.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
starting a business and leaning on the debt. No
Yes.
stress.
Yep.
Yeah.
No stress.
No big deal.
Just no big deal. Just lean in for 5 years. Get it done. Get it
Yes.
done. Well
Yes.
done. So how did you connect up to this Ramsey stuff?
So we've listened to the show for years. I've always, like I said, lived kind of by the principles. No consumer debt. We just really wanted to get rid of this mortgage as fast as we can. I hated seeing the amount of interest that we're sending to the bank just for them to, lend us some money. So our goal was to pay it off by 40, and we achieved it by a little over a year. So it was
For
great
him.
to set
He's
that goal.
closer than
yeah,
I am.
I'm a little closer. Yeah.
She's got 3 years.
By the time he got old. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Oh,
Very cool.
that's
So where'd you come from in California, San Diego?
Huh?
Okay. So when you moved to Louisville and you buy this house, you had to go, oh, this is so cheap.
Right.
I
Yep.
can pay this off. That had to be part of the emotion.
Yeah, the difference in the real estate markets are pretty significant. Obviously, our house has gone up a little bit since 2020 and the last few years. But the just being able to pay off the loan where we have no debt is just, there's so much peace behind that. And we love it.
The grass feels different.
It does feel different. Yeah. And the other thing, and small business people are the only ones that grasp this because you're in sales every day, and you have, the weight is off your shoulders, and you suddenly start making different and better business decisions. Because, when you're early in business, you'll take any client. And now the problem clients, you're like, yeah, I think you need to go see my competitor. You're high maintenance. I think I'll let you work for somebody else. Yeah.
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 You're not as desperate when everything's done.
Right.
You're just
And
like,
you end
all
up
right.
you end up
Yeah.
making more money because everything's just peaceful and it's so different. It's a weird thing. So way to go, you guys! I'm so proud of you.
Well done, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay, so in this process, because you guys started with I think no consumer debt anyways, because you guys have been following this for a while. So when the 5 years kind of began, was it that, hey, we're making more money, we're just not going to increase lifestyle, and we're throwing extra at it? Like, what was your plan of action for people listening that are like, okay, that's our next big step? Did you feel like you were still intense, or do you feel like, no, we were able to like live and breathe, but we just didn't up our lifestyle majorly? What did that look like for you guys?
Both. I'd say we did increase our lifestyle some, but not nearly as much as we could have. And I mean, we also finished our basement. We had a new roof that we put on the house. So lots of expenses that, we were still having to, live, but we didn't really have extravagant lifestyle. We did take a nice trip when we finally did pay off the house. We went to the Maldives. So that was our celebration trip.
Boom, boom.
So good.
But yeah, we're just thankful to be able to be in this position.
Well, you're making $150 to $280, and you average $50,000 a year for 5 years. Yeah, so you were
So
able
good.
to do some stuff. There's wiggle room in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the proper way to do it. So very well done. Who was cheering you on? Anybody?
Yeah, I would say, our friends and family have always been huge cheerleaders and each other. Working together is not for everyone, married couples, but I feel like we make a great team and we kind of offset each other. And when he started, he worked 7 months straight, like you said, no days off. No, he worked nights. He worked during the day, doing sales. And I just tried to be there to be the grounding person, because I also had a full-time job. So I was also supporting us with my full-time job. So we cheer each other on too.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
So good.
So what do you tell people that are listening? What's the key to being almost 40 years old? You now have a paid-for home. It's worth $550, and zero debt of any kind, and including the value of your business, have a net worth well in excess of $1 million. What do you tell people the key to doing that by 40 is?
I would say just do something. Get control of the person behind the mirror, because the person in the mirror, most of it's your behavior. And if you can get control and spend less than you make, get on a written budget, you can set goals and achieve them sooner than you think.
Yeah, and of course discipline, just being living like no one else, like you say. We always kind of repeat that to each other, like we want to live like no one else.
So that later we can live and
Yes.
give like no one else, and here you stand.
Yeah.
You did it. Wow. How's it feel to not have a payment in the world?
It's amazing.
It feels great.
I know. It feels great.
Yeah, no, a side note, so you always talk about how the grass feels different, walk through your grass barefoot. So the day that, we made the final payment on the house, I decided I'm going to walk through the grass barefoot.
You actually did it.
I did. We did get 10 inches of snow on that day. So
But you're like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yep. So after I shoveled the driveway, I took off my boots and went for a quick little brisk walk in the grass.
In the snow. In the snow. It did feel different for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's cold.
Yep.
Wow, that's hilarious. You could have waited till spring, man. Really?
No.
It's kind of like an intense cold
You
plunge.
worked hard for that moment.
That's right. You did. You did. Oh, man. Well, you
Walking
guys,
across
amazing.
coals here. Yeah. Good job, man. That's fun. Well done. Very proud of you guys. You're excellent. Excellent weirdos. Very cool. All right. Patrick and Chelsea, not even 40, along with Luke and Brian, whose family tree has been completely
Are they here?
changed.
Oh, they're here.
Yes,
they're
they're
here.
here.
Oh, they're with us.
I didn't see
I didn't know they were here.
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
Look at them.
man, how great.
Oh, you guys.
These guys have no idea how great their life is because their mom and dad are heroes. You completely changed everything for them and those grandkids that'll come from them. Excellent stuff. Very good stuff. Patrick and Chelsea, Luke and Ryan, Louisville, Kentucky, $250,000 paid off, house and everything in 5 years, now with a net worth in excess of $1 million. Baby step millionaires at 39 and 37. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
Yeah!
They did it. I heard Luke. Luke did good.
I love it. He's ready, man.
Oh, so sweet.
It's great.
So good.
This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruze, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Investing. When I say the word, some of you are immediately intimidated. Dave, I can't invest. I don't know what that even means. It scares me. Oh, I understand. And the good news is it's not as complicated as some of the goobers in the financial world make it sound. It's as if they need to use $10 words so they can charge you a commission. So we teach investing where everyone can understand it and do it, because everyone should understand it and do it. And we're going to go even deeper for you super nerds. We're going to do our Investing Essentials virtual event March 4th and 5th next week. Tickets start at $199. Now, this is 2 nights. It's a 2-night event. The first night is several hours, a couple of hours plus, on investing of all kinds. The second night, we're going to teach primarily on real estate. And I'm going to open up how I've learned to do real estate investing in detail, and it is Nerdville. If you're having trouble sleeping, you'll not have any trouble after this. I'll put you straight to sleep. It's really Nerdville. But if you nerd out on this stuff like I do, if you like doing the spreadsheets and the math and so forth, you will love this event, Investing Essentials. Both nights are going to be where everybody can understand it. I'm kidding around, but it's really stuff I don't get into much. It's only the second time I've ever taught this much depth on real estate investing. And I own several $100 million worth of real estate. So several $100 million worth. So we're going to get into that. It's not a theory. I actually freaking do this stuff, okay? And I'm not teaching you to do something and then I go do something different. This is what I do, and then you can do it or not do it. It's up to you. So get your tickets at RamseySolutions.com/events and click the link in the show notes if you're tuning in on podcast or YouTube.
And this is a great, you guys did this event last year, and
It's the only time we've ever done it was last year.
They loved it. So honestly, it really is. It's a great deep dive into the subject. So.
Oh, and George Camel is like, he's nerding out from now on. He is, this is like his special spiritual gift.
It's like his hobby. It's
like
what he likes to do.
George, get a life. He is really enjoying this. It's really, he's really good at it. It's going to be, his part will probably be better than mine, but it's pretty incredible. All right. Sarah's in Philadelphia. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Okay. So I fell for the lovely money trap of taking out a lot of student loans. And I had $85,000 in my name, and $50,000 were through Parent Plus loans through my parents. Now, I did tell my parents, of course, I would help them pay off whatever they put into their name. So I've been working really hard for the past 8 years, and I paid off all of the student loans that were in my name. So I have no debt legally in my name. But when I went to tell my parents about it, like, hey, I know I've been throwing money at you guys for this every month, but I'm really going to start to focus on it. They kind of told me that they combined my loans and my siblings' Parent Plus loans that I took out for them into one big student loans pot. So I was kind of shocked that they said that because I've been paying towards it. And instead of paying towards mine, I've kind of been paying towards everybody's.
No.
So now I'm like,
no.
I'm at a point where, like, I don't know what to do.
No, you did not make an obligation. Okay, number one, you don't have any legal obligation at all. You do have a moral obligation because you promised to pay your part. But you did not promise to pay your siblings' part, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay. How much have you paid towards the loan that your parents have?
I've paid almost the full amount of it, like before interest. I've been giving them $1,000 a month for like almost 8 years.
Okay. All right. $1,000 a month for 8 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So why would a $60,000 loan not be gone?
The interest rates were high.
What were the interest rates?
They were at like 7 to 8% per loan, and it was a few different loans.
Is the $1,000 a month steady for 8 years?
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
And you know what the original balance was, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and you're how old again?
29.
Okay. Are you married?
No.
Okay. Do you have an investment advisor?
No.
Okay. All right. Because it's a simple it's a financial calculator. I don't have one laying in front of me. I could almost do it on the air, but probably not. But we could simply say, all right, $60,000 at 7% and $1,000 on that. What would be the remaining balance after 8 years? I think it's going to be zero.
I know it's coming pretty close, which is why I mentioned it. Like,
and so I don't owe you anymore, Mom and Dad. I've fulfilled my obligation.
How did they respond, Sarah? Because they know how much you've been paying. And did they say, oh, yeah, your term's almost up, or like what you've given us, or was it pushed back to you?
They kind of just like dropped the bombshell, like, oh, well, this happened, like to make the payments lower. A few years ago,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but did they acknowledge the amount of money you've already paid them?
They did, but now it's like they're treating it like it's different.
Like a one big loan, yeah.
Okay, so Mom, that's a relationship issue. So Mom and Dad, here's the deal. I did not promise to pay anyone else's loans. I promised to pay mine. Mine was $60,000 at 7%, and with $1,000 a month for 8 years, the remaining balance would be zero, or would be X. And so I have $2,600 more to go, and then I'm not paying you anymore. I've met my obligation to you. The fact that you chose to consolidate it for a smaller debt, and my brother has chose not to pay his, does not affect my deal with you.
Yeah, that's pretty much the exact scenario of my siblings not being able to pay theirs right now. So
you just need to get real clear. Number one, you need to get the exact math done. And I can't do that for you right now.
And have it visual. Have it on a sheet of paper. Here's exactly.
Do it. You go online and you can print it out. Okay? You can just go online and find a calculator online and put in 6% or 7%, $60,000 and $1,000 a month for 8 years, and what is the balance? And you can do it online in probably about 45 seconds. If I was smart, I could do it right now, but I'm not. So I used to keep a financial calculator here on the desk in the old days. But I think your balance is going to be zero, because you're going to be up over $90,000 you've paid in, including interest. That should be at zero, okay? Because we're talking about 96 months that you paid in, $96,000 you paid in, and 7% interest. So you're probably have overpaid, but I wouldn't worry about it if you've overpaid relationally. But I would just say, I paid in $96,000, including interest. That means I don't owe anymore. Sorry, Mom and Dad. The rest of it's on you and bro. I did my part. I did my part. But you can use the actual math and show it to them.
Yeah.
And please say bro.
Yeah. Just since a boomer, since I made a bad dad joke.
No,
Rachel
it's
saying,
great.
But, yeah.
No. Sarah, is this going to be a hard conversation, or do you, like, when you have the math and you lay everything out, do you have the type of relationship that you feel?
Are they going to understand this?
Yeah. How's that going to go?
Oh God, I think it's going to be a tough conversation.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Only because they've done a lot of other things for me, you know?
Yeah, they changed your diaper, but you don't have to pay them for that. That's called being a parent.
Right.
Now, they fed you, but you don't have to pay them for that. That's called being a parent. So this is a mess they have made. And they're very lucky, honestly, as Parent Plus holders,
that Sarah
actually has paid $96,000. Because 90% of the time I take this phone call, it's the parent griping because the kid has never paid a dime after they promised they would. And they're stuck with a big old hairy Parent Plus loan. But in this case, Mom and Dad are the ones that stepped in it.
Well done, Sarah.
And they got some on their shoe.
Morally, you've done everything to the T.
You don't have to do any more. I wouldn't do any more. You don't owe any more. But run the numbers to be 100% sure. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?